Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home. Angie still has the same top pros and reviews you've counted on for more than 20 years. Only now, you'll also get access to all the tools you need to make your home a happy place. Inside, outside, big or small, Angie helps you find the right solution for whatever you need done, all from your phone. It's simple to find upfront pricing and instantly book hundreds of projects. You can even search pricing guides to see what others paid for similar jobs and easily compare quotes from top local pros to make sure you're getting a fair price. From lawn care to repairing the AC to the project of your dreams, Angie has your home projects handled from start to finish. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, they'll cover your project up to the full purchase price plus limited damage protection with their happiness guarantee. Make your home an Angie home. Check out Angie.com today. And for more on the happiness guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
Live by Live has all of your favorite music, and you can listen for free. Whether you hit play on one of our hundreds of curated music stations or create your own custom artist radio station, you'll find the music you love on Live by Live. Visit livexlive.com or search LiveX Live in the App Store or Google Play and listen for free now.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to T-Pain's Nappy Boy Radio Podcast, the most fun you'll ever listen to while you're folding your clothes. Now let's get this straight, this is not your average podcast. T-Pain's Nappy Boy Radio is super fun, super crazy. It's pretty much an in-your-face conversation. That's the good thing about us. We don't do interviews, we do conversations. All of my guests, all of my co-hosts, we chill, we drink, we play games, we have the song of the week, we have the creative curse word of the week, as long as you're having fun as our guest. Speaking of guests, each week I'm gonna go through my whole contact list and dive head first into the world of music, gaming, exotic cars, tech, strippers probably, doctors probably strippers that are only stripping so they can pay for tuition to become a doctor. You never know. My wife is a certified bartender. She'll make you a drink while you're here. We'll get you drunk and make you play VR after. It's a lot going on, but that's what it's all about over here at T-Pain's Nappy Boy Radio Podcast. See you soon, baby!
Hey, welcome to the party, pal. We're here, Shift and Steer, and this is where it's happening today, man. And I'm rocking, you guys can't see this if you're not watching a video, but I'm rocking my my Stunt Club t-shirt, Local 4130, which stands for 4130 Chrome Molly. So anyways, Aaron, how you doing?
Not bad. We're smoked in pretty bad today, so you have to excuse me if I sneeze and blink my eyes a lot because my eyes are so dry. Yeah, there's fires.
Good. Matt's gonna join us later. He's on another call, and he's gonna jump in here. But today, man, we're talking some really cool cars that we can't afford. You know, I mean, cars
well,
that
Brad, if we sold everything, maybe we just lived in the car in a garage.
I thought about selling some Bitcoin and buying this one, but I don't think I even have enough there. But anyways, hey, it's all going to happen today. AK-47 women hanging out windows of cars, news about Tesla, fast cars, race cars. It's all happening today on Shift and Steer. But first, let me tell you who's going to help us bring all that to your ears.
Let me tell you real quick about our friends over at Geico. You know, whether you own or rent your home, it can be a lot of hard work, but we know it's easy. It's bundling your policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. And we know that's a good thing too. Yes, and it's a good thing because you already have so much to do around your home and your shop and your snow shoveling and whatever's going on up there.
I'm stressing already.
Just go to geico.com and get a quote and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today.
Hey everybody, as we said, the show is brought to you by some of our great friends. One of those great friends is Good Guys. And I'm going to tell you about the 19th CPP Great Northwest Nationals. Good Guys Rod and Custom Association is coming to Spokane, Washington for the 19th CPP Great Northwest Nationals. It takes place at the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center on August 13th through the 15th. And what's so cool about it is that it's not just cars, but it's also trucks, like 1,500 classic cars and trucks on display with an indoor exhibit, burnout competition, vintage dragster exhibition. It's fun for the whole family. They even have a free kids zone and live entertainment. And not only that, that's not all. They've also got pinstriping, brush bash, and a model car and pedal car display. You can get all your tickets they're available now, and you can get them at good-guys.com. Free admission for children under 6. And let me tell you, here's the hot setup. Just remember, Brad, Aaron, and Matt, we're taking care of you. Use this promo code, GGShift, and you'll get $5 off your spectator ticket. That is GGShift for $5 off spectator ticket. That's when you go on to good-guys.com and go out, check out the 19th CPP Great Northwest Nationals. Now let's get this show rolling.
Shift and steer, racing, rides, people, and places. With your hosts, Brad Banjo, Matt D'Andrea, and Aaron Hagar. New media for a new type of motorsport enthusiast.
Yeah, and we thank them, man. They're the best. They help us put this on every week. And so
what, AK-40, what is this?
Okay, wait, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But before Matt's here, because you and I are like kind of 1 foot in the music land and 1 foot in the car land and 1 foot in crazy land. I just wanted to mention something that I've been hitting up on my Instagram all week, which is MTV's 40th anniversary. And it is so crazy because I've been putting up some photos and memories of things that I've worked on with them or bands that I've worked with. And it's amazing because the comments about how many people that were around when MTV actually played videos, how much they miss it, and
Well, there was a really funny meme. I think my brother posted it, but it said, thanks for 40 years and 15 great years of videos.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, the pre-Jersey Shore years and the but, MTV, they actually broke a lot of what's going on in reality TV now with all those shows. But we remember it, and hell, Mikey and your dad, that's what helped propel them, and that's what helped propel ZZ Top and all these guys. Yeah, talented individuals that would have made it anyway, but it just made it, I think what MTV did for a lot of those bands was that you always had your following, but it grew that following much more because find stuff that they didn't know they existed or that they liked, and then they got to experience it, because of a cool fit or something.
I actually have a kind of a cool story related to that.
Okay.
Dad will disagree, and he'll say there's something wrong with my brain, and there is, but it's too big of a memory for me not to remember. But it's funny. Yesterday I was driving home and I was thinking, I forgot that it was MTV's anniversary, and I was thinking as I was talking to my son, it's a different story these days. It's like we were talking about music and he was mentioning bands, and I'm like, I don't have a visual for these guys. It's like, I don't know what they look like. And all the bands that we grew up with, you knew what they looked like because of MTV. They had a physical presence as well, and not just their music. And that's such an important part, I think, of the marketing and of your opinion of them, is that you were really immersed in the music and the videos, and you really felt a connection to the music and the bands because you knew who they were. Nowadays I just hear the music and I don't know who they are. You know what, though? If I saw them on the street, wouldn't know who they are.
To illustrate that even more, it's not just now, it's before. Look at your dad.
Yeah.
Think of all the stuff he did in Montrose.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a visual of your dad until the 55 video and the Van Halen stuff. So, because before that, I knew your dad's voice, jump on your bad motor scooter and ride and, all the stuff. But I never had a visual until I can't drive 55. And you're absolutely right. So it was pre and post. So there's this one era that had happened, and then it just kind of went the other way again. But I miss it. I have some great memories, and helping Tom Petty do his free falling video, and all my skaters on the ramp, and being there that day, and being.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. I used to work with Tom Petty quite a bit. We'd go up to his house and take his kids' skateboards, take him skateboards, and he said he was working with Ted Templeton.
Templeman. Yeah.
Yes, on doing this video. And he said, could you come up and talk to us about it? So he sat down, and they had that visual. Ted had that visual of the valley down below and the skaters up and doing them in slow motion, like they're falling and bringing it all in. And I said, oh, well, we got a mobile half pipe. We brought it. They rented some dude's backyard. That was like the exact angle they wanted. They took down the fence. We pulled the trailer in. And those are all my skateboarders that I was sponsoring at the time.
Really?
They're all wearing Vision streetwear. And the funny story that I told on another podcast was that, Tom was, he was stoned a lot. He liked his, his Keith, and so we get there that day. My guys get the ramp all set up. I'm there and talking to my skaters, and that blonde girl that's in the video, she literally had never skated a half pipe in her life. My guys taught her how to drop in and turn in about a 45-minute session, which is amazing for her.
Wow.
It showed how really, she really was good, because she learned that in a short time. And my guys were really good at teaching her. But so I'm standing there with Ted, and they're double checking all the lighting. They're getting to that point where in the video, the convertible pulls up. There's a big, tire stop. So he hits his mark, and, he looks out and the ramp's there. So they get it. The coordinators, they get it all set up, and Tom comes walking out of his trailer, and he comes walking up, and he goes, hey man, I just want to thank you. Really appreciate it. This is, so cool. And I'm like, no, I'm glad we could be part of it. Never knowing it was going to be one of the most iconic videos of all time,
Yeah.
And so we do this. And so they do the shot of him pulling up. They get it. He gets out, turns around, and he looks at Ted and I, and he goes, this is exactly how I did it, Aaron. He goes, dude, that was awesome. That was like, it was exactly how we envisioned it. And it was just fantastic, man. And then the girl runs up and she goes, we got to get you changed for the next shot. And he goes, okay, I got to go. And he walks in the trailer, and Ted and the AE, they look at each other, and no lie, they go, oh my God, can you believe that? And I go, what are you talking about? They go, we've never seen him get that excited about anything. And for him, funny. That was excited,
Oh, that's awesome.
There's all kinds of great stories.
I mean, I think I met him once at the MTV Music Awards when Dad was doing all that.
Such a cool.
Stuff. But yeah, I don't remember him too well. But whenever I see him, I've got this weird thing in my brain about faces, prosopagnosia, and whenever I see him, I think of Jackie Earle Haley. Whenever I see Jackie, I think of.
I don't know who Jackie is. Who's Jackie? Matt's here.
He was.
Can't talk about him anymore.
His claim to fame was the Bad News Bears.
Oh, okay.
Every cool character. Yeah, it's very sinewy, but I don't know why he reminds me of him so much.
Because of the long, straight hair, the straight, thin face. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. We're talking about.
If he had some mutton chops, he should play.
To bring you up to
Matt,
speed,
what's happening?
Matt, you missed all the good shit. So there you go.
I know. I always miss the good stuff. I used to assume me not being there was the good stuff. What's going on?
We just brought up, before we get into all the car stuff, about why I've been posting about MTV's 40th this week. And I was telling a couple stories, and we were talking about how MTV in that 15 years they played videos, how when we look at even like Mikey and Sammy, how pre-MTV, Sammy had Montrose and everything, and Aaron brought up how you didn't really have a visual. You knew a voice. You saw what the picture on the album cover maybe, but then now today it's back to that same thing. There's people, the band, and unless you go see them in concert or see a photo of them, there's nothing to give you that frame of reference, So
there's some funny memes that was like, happy 40th anniversary of MTV. You gave us 15 years of really great music.
Exactly.
Videos,
yeah, music videos, yeah.
That's the same one I saw.
I'll just plug something real quick, guys. If you want to hear some more MTV stories, I just did this week Stevie D's podcast. You can look him up on Facebook. It's Stevie D, and it's abbreviated. You can find it, or you can go to the link on my website and find it. And I told about 5 or 6 MTV stories from Martha Quinn to Sammy and all kinds of stuff. So check it out.
I was going to tell a story, and I forgot what was the late, like middle of the night, 2 a.m. Was it Basement Tapes? I think it was called MTV's like break.
I don't remember the exact name, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
I think it was Basement Tapes. So my story, Matt, I promised to tell a story and we got sidetracked, but I was watching it because Dad had a satellite dish at the time. I think I've told stories about
one of
that.
Those giant 16-foot ones.
Yeah, one of those giant things. And we used to get all the channels. So I was watching, I think it was Basement Tapes or whatever it was of just rough stuff, right? Just raw, like they're trying to break a new artist. Like, hey, check these guys out. And I saw Alice in Chains.
Oh,
and I had seen and heard about him before in LA, and I wanted to say I saw him in a club or something. And anyway, but I think I don't know if it was Boy in the Box or before that, but it was the first video they did. And Lane had like curly hair, and he looked so much like Dad back then. And I was like, wow, these guys are badass. And I told Dad about him, and I forget what happened in between, but Dad ended up being best friends with Jerry Cantrell. And I as far as I know, Dad and Van Halen helped break that band, because Dad went after him and checked him out and said, man, these guys are so cool. This guy thinks he's me. I remember all the conversations back then, but, and he liked the band so much that he took him out on tour, and they're still best friends. Him and Jerry, or Jerry's always at the birthday bash. He was always coming over. Great guy. I think he's got a new single out too, or a new album, but, really, really cool, lifetime friends. But I remember when we were touring, Dad didn't want me to go out front and watch the show, because he was like, these guys are so dark, man. They'll conjure up the devil out there. I don't want you going out there. Because I was like a young teenager or something. He was like, I don't want you going out there because, these people get violent, man. They're going to tear down the barricades, and, this band really gets them fired up. And I remember him saying he wouldn't let me go out front during Alice in Chains because they were so dark that they mess up the heads of the audience.
What a sweet, loving moment between you and your dad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want any pentagrams or anything, man.
He's so concerned.
I was just a skinny kid, a skinny kid. I was a mod kid, I was a mod rocker. So
you're on your Vespa and cruising around, man. So with your long raincoat. All right.
I had 3 earrings and purple hair, and, I didn't fit in.
we promised to talk about AK-47 women hanging out the windows of Mercedes.
A word from our friends at Geico. Maybe you own your home or you rent your home. Either way, it can be a lot of work. But you know what's easy? It's bundling your policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. And that's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home already. Just go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you can save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today.
That's geico.com.
So I saw this on the news, and then I kind of dug into it on the internet. They said that police were searching for, in Northern California, a woman who was seen hanging from the window of a Mercedes, late model white Mercedes, with an AK-47. And it was in Oakland. And
I'm telling you, they were shooting a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah,
that does sound like right.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm like going, okay, what's going on? What's this all about? Well, okay, it turns out it was at one of these street events that pop up where the guys, are doing all the burnouts, they're doing all the cookies. You see them on the internet all the time where you see. I don't understand it. Are these guys like drinking and smoking way too much? Because have you seen these videos on YouTube and stuff where they're doing the burnout, they're doing the cookie and everything, and somebody just walks out and smack and goes flying up into the air?
They're doing it out here, like
they're doing it everywhere.
It's coming out like right in the intersection of Lincoln and Venice. They've been doing it here and in Culver City, right out front of my place and out front of the. I'm moving in 2 weeks, by the way, but in front of the warehouse here. But it started with the 12 o'clock boys. If you're not familiar with that term, the 12 o'clock boys. We have a documentary that we didn't make it, but we distributed it on our Chassis Media. The 12 o'clock boys are all the motorcycle guys, the dirt bikes and the quads in like Chicago and stuff. And they're riding the wheelies, and riding the wheelie is the 12 o'clock boy. They're pointing up toward the 12 o'clock. That's what they're doing. There's a really great documentary about the whole thing called 12 o'clock boys. And now we have them out here. So we have the cars that you're talking about. They just take over a whole intersection.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic be damned. Traffic lights
They'll
be
stop
damned.
it on the interstate, on the freeway.
Yeah. And unfortunately, people are getting hurt and they're causing a ruckus.
Right.
But
well, so this went to the next extreme. While the car was doing the cookies, the donuts, the croissants, it was she was hanging out with an honest to goodness banana clipped AK-47. So that and of course it went up on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else. And what these people don't realize is, oh, wait a minute. If you had a pistol, they might be like, that's not cool, but we're not going to track you down. But when you've got an AK-47 fully automatic with a banana clip, they're going to find out who you are. So they're going to find out. And they did some screen grabs. They got enough of a license plate, and the next thing you see is the California Highway Patrol like that towing the car away, and they went to somebody's house. But it's craziness. It was all over. But it's like you said, Matt. We see it all the time. Outside of my building here on the weekends, you guys know that Horseshoe Street. Yeah. That is a racetrack and a donut. I mean, so I've come here like 1 a.m. and my alarm's gone off or something, and there's 100 cars out there, man. And I think,
wow.
Well, wait a minute, wouldn't there be like cops would come and because I remember when we street raced back in the day, we'd go clear up at the airport, and eventually the cops would pull up and they'd break the whole thing up. And maybe they do at 3 a.m. I don't know, but we're not clear out by the airport here. So, but it was interesting.
We have a place by the high school, and they just repaved it all. And I noticed there's a bunch of the circles all over the road, man, just all over the road. Like kids are coming out of the high
everywhere.
School.
Yeah.
And the other thing you see like out in the street behind my place is big chunks of tires. So I think, okay, so a lot of guys are blowing their tires up doing it.
Yeah.
They're going to limp their cars home or change tires or have a tow truck or something come, but it's crazy. But
these kids.
Yeah,
these kids. What's wrong with these kids?
I blame Vin Diesel.
But, you know what I want to do?
It's that Fast and Furious show.
I want to show up at one of these events, but I want to be in a 991 GT2 RS Close.
Oh, right? Oh my God,
Matt, have you seen it? That
no
special edition Porsche. It's a flat. I wouldn't call it a black, more of like a anthracite and lime green accents. It's got the big wing. It's got the big race body.
Yeah, the new car. Yeah.
They're going to make 30 of them, and they're giving them away. So we should each buy one.
Yeah. I love the title. It's a race car for regular people.
Yeah, right.
Regular people that can afford $1 million.
Yeah. Designed for track use.
Okay, as cool as it is, what are your thoughts on the off-road only special edition car like this? Because at Rennsport a couple years ago, they brought the 935 back.
Right?
But they're like track only. And that was the most talked about thing on the debut. Like, oh, I can't drive this at home? Brad's got comments. Go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I don't have to raise my hand? Okay.
No, but I appreciate you did.
I say that everybody gets a dealer plate and say you're just transporting it from place to place if you get pulled over.
Yeah, well, in California, but in some states you can still drive it. So I had a whole conversation with a couple of my track buddies, the Weekend Warrior track buddies of mine. And, I had that M3, that E46 that I was driving, that I started to prep it for the track a little bit because I was driving on the track. And it was just a rabbit hole can of worms of now I got to do this and I got to do this. And because I did this, I got to do this. And my buddy's like, dude, stop dicking around with a street car. He goes, just get a dedicated track car, trailer it to the track, drive the shit out of it. And if something happens, you put it back on the trailer and you have a ride home because you towed it there. And having obviously it's an affordability thing, but having a dedicated track car, just the head game alone, right? Of knowing that you can drive your car hard, you can get the most out of the experience of being on the track without being worried about driving at home. And the other thing too is, tires. So I had Toyo 888Rs, and those things would get all rubbered up, all gummed up. And then I'd have to put nitrogen, I borrowed some guy's tank, and put some nitrogen in them and went to drive it home. And I pulled over twice the first time I drove it home from the track because I thought something was wrong with the car. Shit, I broke the car because all the rubber on the tires and all the rubber inside the rims, it throws the balance off so bad that the thing just vibrates like a mother, for the first hour and a half of your drive until you start flinging rubber off it. But you're never going to get the tires up to temperature to fling all the rubber off it. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. It's hard on a car if you're really going to track it. So having something like this that's track only, if you're going to afford an $800,000 track car, track only works for you,
Okay, let me give a counterpoint to that because I have another thought. Big believer of excess is best, and how I've had blower cars with big huge tires in the back that are not, they're not reasonable on the street, but they make an impact. And driving something like that on the street on a Saturday and a Sunday, going down to Cars and Coffee or carving through the canyons, I'm all for that. I think that would be so cool. On to you, Matt.
If you're a show off, but
I have another thought.
Have AC? Does he even have AC? Are you going to drive?
Who cares? Who said anybody was going with me?
That's a good point. My thought is, it doesn't matter. The car's not going to be driven.
You're right.
I think
the 30 cars are going to get put away.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially now, the way the collector car market has gone over the years, the way we're seeing more and more cars pop up at auctions and stuff with basically no miles on it. I mean, sure, maybe the owner gets it. They do one track day. They say, I love driving it. It's fantastic. And then 37 miles later, it's never going to see the light of day. It's going to be put in a collection someplace. The reality is, I just think it's just not going to get any miles. So somebody like Porsche or whoever else is doing this, they're like, fuck it. Who cares if it's a street car or not? It's a collector piece. It's going to go to certain people. They're barely going to do anything with it. If they want to drive it, to your point, Aaron, they've got the money to take it to the track, or even just not even race, just do a track day, do some laps with it, have some fun. But aside from that, they're going to put it away.
Okay, so there you have it. You have the race opinion.
Yeah.
the street opinion and Mr. Pragmatic. It's all like, okay.
And the thing is anybody who drives the shit out of their cars is not going to spend $800,000 on a track car.
There'll be, there'll be a handful of guys that show up just for bragging rights at the track and holy shit, he's got a, But those are the guys in that thing, like in Florida that we interviewed the gentleman who had that fly their private plane in and keep this car and a couple others at the track, their own private little deal,
I was talking to our buddy Alexander Weaver from RM Auctions. He told a funny story. He was actually on CarCast the other day, and he said he got invited out to a track day up at Willow, I believe, and a bunch of crazy supercars and stuff. And it was a show-off fest. You're right. It's a little bit of I'm going to bring what I don't normally drive. And Brad, it's like, it's a show-off fest as well. And they were making the speech, or like, here's a deal. We don't want the cars to get, wrecked or anything. And the signal is confusing, the directional signal. So when people pass, you signal them by. You stick your hand out the window and you pass them by. Of course, the guy in the back of the room goes, excuse me, what if I can't reach out the window? And everyone's like, oh, because they know he's the fucking guy that showed up in a McLaren F1.
Right.
And he sits in the middle. And that's this guy going, I can't reach out the window. My car is $20 million and I have to sit in the middle. Everyone's like, show off, bullshit, show off. and they're like, fine. Everybody can pass the McLaren F1. He's like, or nobody can.
Wow.
And the stuff that goes on at those racetracks. And I remember the story of this guy that would fly in from Tokyo, and he had a cargo plane. They would fly in, unload the F1 car, real F1 car, and then he would, show up and go for his race and then get back in his plane and fly back to Tokyo. It's just crazy money. We couldn't afford any of that stuff. So
I just can't imagine that. I'm thinking of Matt, Brad and I were texting last night. My friend has an upgrade for sale way under market that he's willing to do, and even a little trading. And I'm thinking, okay, if I sell 3 of my cars, I can just swing it.
Yeah.
It's like, should I be thinking that way? Because I'm thinking servicing one of those cars is a bit of a stretch. Servicing this car is going to be like triple threat.
That's what you got to remember.
Especially with center locks.
Yeah.
That may be an issue.
On to other supercars. What about the Acura NSX 2022's final year? Now, Matt, you and I have driven those cars a couple times.
Yeah.
Fun cars to drive. But
I like those. I think they're sleepers.
I like them.
The NSX
I like them too.
is a sleeper. I would love to have one of those.
You could purchase right, have it, and it's going to be worth the same as you bought it 4 years from now. But this year, to mark that final year of production, they're coming out with the Type S, which is going to have more horsepower. They've restyled it a little bit, and it looks nice. Did you guys see the Evo, the GT3 car? Excuse me.
Yes, I saw the pictures of the racing car. So Acura's NSX is being raced, and this is their version of it. But back to the street car. Couple thoughts is, one, I don't know what the price is going to be for the street car. And this is kind of a tough one because there was discounts on the NSX because they weren't particularly selling well.
Right.
So do they price it high and go for a collectability, or they kind of just price it where the other ones were and saying, well, we don't need to do the $10,000 discount. We'll just sell it for what it is. So pricing is a question. And then there's the discussion of, was the NSX a failure or not? I read one article, and the guy was all in on what a disaster of a project. And I don't necessarily agree. I think the NSX did enough. I think it did what it was supposed to do. Maybe not what they hoped it would do, but it did what it was supposed to do for the brand and the attention it got, and in their racing. I say by no means is the NSX a failure. I mean, did Acura maybe hope it would have done better and been in super demand and super collectible? Maybe, but I have no issues with that car.
Yeah.
Or what Acura did.
I would love to own one. I mean, to be honest, it's a supercar. You know, they're awesome.
It is wonderfully fantastic to drive. Honestly,
you can drive that car every day and enjoy it. It's that kind of a car.
You think you're in an Acura luxury car. It's so competent and smooth and comfortable. And I think people are saying maybe the overall performance isn't there, but I would argue that person hasn't had the car in an environment where they were able to really stretch its legs.
Yeah.
You know, I think the car is more capable than most of the drivers that own them. But I mean, that's to say a lot of supercars are that way, but they just feel crazier, right?
They're loud.
Brad, you and I drove the NSX and the 720S basically the same day, back to back. The McLaren feels like a crazy loud over the top supercar, and the Acura seems super refined, but that's by design, right? Like,
well, I think that's part of the problem too. Much like the Audi R8, is that they're conservative for people that want that thrill. They're not thrilling unless you can take them out in the track and drive them in a thrilling manner. You know, they're a little more conservative. They're a little more refined. They're very polished, which as a daily driver is fantastic.
If you put your foot in it, that car will put you back in the seat, and you know, you gotta use your head. You gotta know where you're pointing it. But it's not a 720S, but it's like saying that's like saying what's the red eye Hellcat, blah blah blah, versus just, you know, and they're both supercars, but one is meant to be kind of over the top and really, you know, barely streetable, where the other one is you can drive it every day. The other thing that I think that the NSX, the new generation, suffers from is just strictly history. And what I mean by that is everybody reflects on that original NSX so much. It was the car they wanted. It was the car, and it became over the years affordable, and some guys attained them. Then the new one came out, because I heard this from guys. When I was driving it, they would come up and they'd go, "Well, this is the newest NX. Oh, wow, it's cool. But you know what? They've made it so expensive now." Well, no. When that original aluminum-bodied NSX came out, for the time, it was equally as expensive. And they forget that over time. It's kind of that little bit of dust and cobwebs in the brain.
And the gap is so big in between models, production models, I think they've lost the relationship with it. You know what I mean?
Like Toyota Supra.
Yeah, I was going to say very much like the Toyota Supra. Now, the Toyota Supra has found a new audience, but I think it's still lost. And speaking of those oddities, I saw an LFA, right? That the Lexus LFA. I saw an LFA in St. Helena the other day, and is that a failure? I mean, or is that just the lost car?
No,
that everyone forgot about.
It's actually an interesting point. So, it's sold better than the NSX, but it wasn't selling like hotcakes. There wasn't a huge demand. When that car was available, even though it was limited, it was still available. So I think maybe it did a little better, but it was very expensive.
Crazy.
But the performance of that car,
supposedly they're like,
it's fantastic. Shit. I've driven a few of them. I've been on the track with them. And not to keep pushing this, but the story I've told several times, that track day I did with Paul Walker a few months before he died, that was at Willow Springs with just LFAs. Like he and I were just out there with LFAs all day. And and that V10, by the way, one of the best sounding engines out there. That car sounds like an F1 car. It's super, super sick. And now they're going up in value. They're popping up at auctions and they're getting a bit of a premium over that sticker price. I mean, it's, I think the LFA did what the Ford GT did, there's a premium on there. Everyone's trading them. They kind of know what the price is right now. There was a couple special editions, a Nürburgring edition, that they did, which was very cool. But it's a very, very badass car on a performance standpoint.
Close to 400, right? Weren't they like 350 or 3?
So there was a couple versions. I want to say they were probably between 400 and 600 for the Nürburgring edition. Yeah.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah.
They were crazy. And the thing was, in the popular culture, it was one of those cars you kind of had to know about, kind of had to really dive deep in or stumble upon it. Yeah, it wasn't like the Ford GT that used it as comparison, that it was, in your face, a lot of promotion. It was in the media.
Right.
If you were reading the right places and you were an enthusiast, but the average person knew about a Ford GT, but they didn't know about the LFA. So it was, you do see them. You see them. There's every once in a while I'll see one in my neighborhood and I'm like, oh shoot, there's an LFA,
Well, yeah, I saw it. It was kind of a champagne color, and it was parked just on the street. And I went, oh, that's one of those LFAs. I think that was the first time I'd seen one in person.
They're good looking cars. Yeah.
It looked beautiful. Yeah. It was a really good looking car. I was like, hey, is that a fancy BRZ with the body kit? What is that?
So, hey, Matt, I know that you've got another person that helps promote this show that you're going to tell us about right now. And I think you're going to tell us what about Meguiar's?
Sure. I'll tell you about Meguiar's. Yeah. Our friends at Meguiar's, over the last few years, Meguiar's launched the next generation of protective products specifically geared toward DIYers. They have their hybrid ceramic spray wax. This is the one in the bright blue bottle. It's got their advanced SiO2 technology, and it delivers ceramic wax protection and durability beyond traditional wax. They also have their hybrid ceramic liquid wax. It's their long-lasting ceramic protection, but an easy-to-use liquid wax. And their hybrid ceramic spray detailer, this one's really wonderful. Remove dust, fingerprints, bird droppings, easy to use, spray on, wipe off. And their newest product is their new hybrid ceramic wash and wax in the bright orange bottle. The two liquid system combines together in one. It washes, protects all at the same time. So Meguiar's, they have a hybrid ceramic solution for everyone. It's ceramic made easy. It's Meguiar's.
That was awesome. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought we'd edit it in later, but you pulled it off, man, right in there with Meguiar's.
Yeah, you did. You meant to put him on the spot. Yeah, you did.
I meant for it to go dark, and then we'd edit it in. But he went right in. He dove right in. So, okay. So the White House had this big meeting, invited all the car companies, but they didn't invite Tesla. What's up with that?
They didn't?
Because he's running for president?
Did you see that he... there was a big deal. He put up all these things about, they invited Ford, GM, Atlantis, or whatever Chrysler changed its name to now. And
Stellantis.
It's
what?
Seriously? Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So that's a new thing. And so
guess I missed that.
And he was like, I think he was feeling kind of hurt, and then it turned out that the reason they invited them are because they're all union car builders, and they were talking about unions. And Tesla is not a union shop, so that was the whole thing. But it was this big thing. It was like, are they conspiring with the guy? There was all kinds of stuff. That is the thing anymore. What is with it? And you can't do anything without somebody like, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, or aliens, they stole all the Fox bodies, that's where all they went. It's like you could start anything on the internet, and you would get some kind of a following, I think. So what else you got to talk about, Matt? Because we're coming up on the top of the hour already.
Yeah, what is your contribution to today's show, other than a read?
I'm here to support you guys.
Well, we appreciate that.
And I'm here to support Geico, I think.
Well,
is that true?
Do you have a Geico ad read? If you do,
I do now.
Support them right now. Go for it.
I'm here to support Geico. Go. Whether you guys own your home or rent your home, we know it can be a lot of hard work, but it's easy. Bundling your policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. And that's a good thing too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Just go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you can save. It's geico.com. Visit geico.com. My point about the McLaren being the 3-seater, by the way, I went to the RM Sotheby's auction preview last night over here at our little office. They had a few cars in there. They had the Porsche 917 Golf livery, $16 to $18.5 million estimate, by the way. But a car that I wasn't sure about, but when I saw it in person is gorgeous, is the McLaren Speedtail.
I like that car. I like it.
It is 3-seater with the big swoopy tail in the back.
Yeah.
It looks like a duck's butt.
Yeah.
And man, getting up on this car in person, all carbon fiber body, but they did like a blue carbon and then a 2-tone with the black carbon. It's gorgeous.
That car, I love that.
It's long and it's low. It reminded me of the Wraith with Charlie Sheen, where he was
totally.
Where he was an alien car and he killed people. He killed bad guys.
He was dead, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was dead. Except this is the McLaren, not a Dodge, and this didn't have billet wheels and sat 6 inches off the ground. This one sat 4 inches off the ground, had carbon fiber forged aluminum wheels. But just a gorgeous piece. The line of that car, it's going up for auction for like $3 to $3.5 million. I don't know what it cost new. It could have been $1 million, could have been $2 million, but whoever had the opportunity to buy that car and they bought it, good for you. That car is gorgeous. That's going to be an icon of a car. It's just, you get that thing in your museum or in your collection, you put it under the right lights or on a little podium. You're like, that's a cool looking car, very futuristic and stuff. Now they had it next to, a 1964 Dodge prototype car that looked like a missile and looked like it should be at a state fair. And, so it was a cool sort of spectrum of cars at the event, but the McLaren is cool. Now that guy at a track day can't get his arm out the window, but that's fine.
But his passenger can.
Say that car put a smile on all of our faces, and let's wrap it up with that because it's a smile on our face. It's cool. Monterey is coming up right around the corner. That NSX that we talked about will be debuted up there, and I can't make it up. I know Aaron can't make it, but Matt, you're going, so I'll be there. Tell us all about it.
I will be there. I'll be at the Acura event to see that car, and I'm going to swing by the auctions in Pebble. I'm going to try to swing by as many of the good things as possible. Can't hit everything, but
it's an impossibility. So, hey, everybody, thanks for listening this week. And as always, be sure to go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, leave a good comment, and you know what? You can also hear on our website. And we're at, Matt? We're at
shiftandsteer.com, and you can follow me at Moderator on social media.
I'm Aaron Hagar. You can find me on social media at Aaron Hagar, and the website is the Rat Runner's Garage.
Hey, find me at Bradley_Fanshaw on Instagram, and if you want to see some of those posts about MTV, go there and check it out. And thanks for listening. We'll be back next week,
Always.
pal.
If you like this show, also listen to Man Seeks Adventure and Dixon's Wild Ride. You can find Man Seeks Adventure at manseeksadventure.com.
Grab a 30-day free trial of Live by Live Plus, and you'll get unlimited skips, commercial-free music, and all of the podcasts and live streaming events you can handle. Visit livexlive.com/podcast1 to learn more and start your free trial.